everybody, my name is Emily Dewey, and I am going to be making some art with you inspired by the story of Mai and the Magical Blackbird. What we're going to do is make our own paintbrushes and drawing tools using natural objects. So you can see here I've made a few of my own paintbrushes. It might not look like a paintbrush much at the moment, but they will later in the video when you see what we're going to do with them. So this one's made from a feather and a stick. This one's some leaves. And so this is like a little bit of sheep wool. And things like grasses and things from hedgerows, dried things. All of these things are going to make different types of brushes and drawing tools which we're going to use to make our art. So in a moment I'm going to give you some instructions for going for your walk and gathering some things to make our paintbrushes and tools with, and I'll tell you what other materials you need. The first thing we're going to do is go on a walk. You'll need to gather some sticks, grasses, weeds, feathers, moss, leaves, anything you find that you could make a natural paintbrush out of. And how about taking some seed for the birds as you go along, because when we take things from nature it's nice to put something back. You can pick up things from the floor, wear gloves if you like, and don't pick up anything sharp or dangerous. Look for things that are dried, they make nice paintbrushes, maybe things from last season that have died and dried out like weeds. And sticks, all kinds of sticks, maybe things like willow. Look for different kinds of things to make your paintbrushes. And when you've gathered a nice little bundle like this of objects you can use, we can go and make our paintbrushes. So to make a paintbrush like this is really easy. And lots of fun. So what you need for the base is you need some sort of stick, basically. So let me see, we've got some thicker ones, we've got some thinner ones, and it would be good to try and make some brushes and drawing tools like this with different types of length, stick or holding part. So we have some short, some long. Let's even break that one in half. Some thin, some fat. And the part you'll use for making your mark. See, I've got this little plant here. I'm going to just cut that off here. And then you see where you've got leaves and things, we're going to pull the leaves off. So at the bottom, so that there's a nice straight bit to attach to your stick, like so. Actually, I think this is better on the thinner one. So we're going to make quite a thin spindly brush here, and wrap. I've just got some string, garden string, and some scissors, and I am going to hold this quite securely here. You could use a rubber band if you wanted to make sure it stays there, or get somebody to help you hold it, leaving quite a long end of the thread here. I'm going to wrap this, binding your brush part to your stick part. It's really nice and easy. You want it to be nice and secure, so you probably want to wrap a few times around. Trying not to squash your plant or your grass or whatever bits and bobs you're using to make your paintbrush. And then we're going to tie this little loop here and a knot. So a couple of nice knots so it's nice and secure. Then you can trim off. There you go. So that's one. We'll pop that aside. You can use grass in quite an interesting way. You could pick grasses and things, or things from hedgerows, fold it over so you've got a little tufty bits, and same thing again, you can bind the stick to the grass. There you go. So this is really quick to do. I've got a little bit sticking out there. There we are. And a bit here. And I can just tie that together. There we go. And let's trim off our bits of string. Let's try and all make possibly about 5 different types of paintbrush. See, I've got these ones here. So it's one with the sheep's wool, one using a feather, and one using a little bunch of things. And what we also want is to just keep a few sticks, so maybe a thin and a thick stick or stem of something with nothing on at all, so we're just going to use them as they are. For the painting part of this workshop, you'll need to set up with a big piece of paper. I'm using a roll of paper here. Your paints, your paintbrushes that you've made, and maybe some ink. We're not trying to make a picture right now, we're just making marks and seeing what our paintbrush can do, playing with different colours. If you like, you could put on the story of Mai and the Magical Blackbird, or some music from this project using the audio tracks provided. If you're listening to the music, you could try making bigger marks, moving your whole body as you paint. Try sweeping your brush across the paper, splattering paint on it, making different marks, thinking about how the story makes you feel. You could also write with your sticks in paint or ink. And you could use the pictures provided as some inspiration to copy some of the symbols and images from the story of Mai and the Magical Blackbird, or you could come up with your own. Black ink works really well for this on top of the painted background. When you've finished your piece of art, get your family or teacher to take a high quality photograph of it that we can use as a backdrop for your performance.